This one thing might be the key to healing the fearful avoidant attachment style. I am Pauline and I am so happy you are here because there is so much that can be healed that you want to heal, and it can be really overwhelming, right? When you start diving into the fearful avoidant attachment style, you come across so many dynamics, so many beliefs, so many fears that you think, oh, I have to heal all of them. And that's not true. There's almost like a sort of ranking to what you can heal or maybe what you should heal. That makes the rest so much easier or not even necessary to heal anymore. And so today I want to talk to you about about one really big key thing to healing the fearful avoidant attachment style. And if you don't heal this, it's not that you can't heal, it's just that there will be so much more resistance. It will be so much longer and kind of harder to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style. And healing this will always give you more freedom, more and more freedom to be yourself, to be happy, to allow love. So what is that one thing? It is victimhood. And I know that there are so many negative associations around even the word victimhood. There are so many different takes on what victimhood is, how bad it is. Like, people are really being blasted, is that the right word, for being a victim. And so I want to take that away right now. This is no judgment whatsoever, and nobody has a right to judge victimhood, because when you don't have power available to you, victimhood is a brilliant mechanism. It is a logical mechanism. And so you may be operating from victimhood is not saying anything about you. I want you to park all of those associations that you might have. You might not be aware that you're operating from victimhood, but I think everybody in the whole world is operating from victimhood to a certain extent. I felt like a victim for so long when I wasn't aware of it. And it, like I said, it is a mindset, a state that you operate from. It's not you. You are not a victim. You are not a person choosing to be a victim. That is just what you're operating from, and it makes total sense with where you've come from. So don't be hard on yourself. I don't want you to judge yourself, because you've been judged a lot, which is one of the reasons that this victim mentality came in very handy. It was a very logical mechanism to start operating from. And I didn't realize that I was in victim mode, and I didn't realize how much it was impacting my life. It is impossible to not have anxiety when you are operating from victim mode. It is impossible to not have anxiety. I want you to live a life free of anxiety, of all the negative emotions that you might be feeling a lot right now. And so we have to talk about victimhood. It's just, there's no choice. So the key to shifting out of victimhood is allowing ourselves to be powerful, since victimhood can only exist when you felt like power wasn't available to you. And for, I want to say, almost all fearful avoidance, power wasn't available to you. When you were younger, it was unsafe to be powerful, because usually a fearful avoidant parent, and you probably had a fearful avoidant parent, didn't want you to be powerful, because what fearful avoidant parents want above all is control. They are so afraid of losing control. So what would happen if your child is very powerful? You would feel like you were losing control a lot. And so without them really knowing what they were doing, they probably manipulated you to a point where you had a really hard time allowing power, because powerful felt scary. Powerful felt unsafe. There were a lot of negative associations around being powerful, using a strong voice, getting angry. Just think back of what would happen when you would use a strong voice, when you would stand up for yourself, when you would get angry. Was your parent welcoming to that? Were they willing to listen? Were they willing to see what was beneath that? So the fearful avoidant parent is really scared of losing control, and therefore you as a child kind of adapt and kind of give up your power to be safe in the relationship with your parent. And I kind of want to do an exercise with you right now, because so much of the things that we don't allow ourselves, like love, like rest, and like being powerful, comes because we have so many negative associations around that positive thing. So a lot of therapy and psychology is focused on solving the problem, focusing on the problem and solving the problem. But the route to healing that is actually quicker is to focus on that, the place you want to get to, and healing the negative associations you have with that positive situation or that positive feeling. So being powerful is actually a positive feeling. It might not feel positive for you now, but allowing power will allow you to release anxiety. The more powerful you feel, the less anxiety you need, the less anxiety your fear brain will use to keep you safe. So the exercise I want to do with you is ask yourself 2 questions. The first is, if I'm powerful, I will. And finish that sentence. When I'm powerful, I will. And you can pause the video and do this exercise. Finish that sentence as often as you can and just kind of see what comes up. When I'm powerful, I will. Pause it now. Okay, if you've done the exercise, there may have been very surprising things that came up. I remember when I kind of did an iteration of this exercise, I felt that if I'm powerful, I will only hurt people. If I'm powerful, when I'm powerful, I will make a mistake and the impact of that will be so big, it will just destroy my life. When I'm powerful, I will not be empathetic anymore. And when you have that list, that is the way your fear brain thinks. So obviously, you are not going to allow yourself to be powerful. Then on the other side, the other exercise that I want to do with you is, as long as I'm not powerful, I still, and you finish that sentence. As long as I'm not powerful, I still. So pause the video. If you've done the exercise, this is what is also keeping you from allowing power and feeling powerful. Because as long as you're not powerful, you get to hide. You still get to have empathy from others. You still get to have an excuse to not stand up for yourself and put up boundaries. And again, this is not bad. You are not a bad person for having these thoughts, these beliefs, having this come up. It's not that you are choosing victimhood. It's just that it's safer for you now. And so we have all these negative associations around being powerful. And the more you allow yourself to be powerful, the more you release these negative associations, the more you shift out of victimhood. So the one key to shift out of victimhood, and therefore also for a big part shift out of the fearful avoidant attachment style, is to allow power. To allow yourself to be powerful, to feel powerful. And that will have an influence on all areas of your life, not only your relationships, but also your work, your finances, your health, your friendships, everywhere. Being powerful will help you create a life on your terms, which in turn will allow you to create so much more deep connection. Because if you're always afraid that your power will be taken away, that you will become a victim, connection won't really feel safe. And to be in a victim mindset, you kind of also have to be a victim. I realized this when I was diving into this pattern, and I realized that I kept putting myself in situations where I was a victim, because then I would feel kind of justified in being a victim. And I didn't choose this. I felt like I was working so hard and I was struggling and I was really doing my best. But working on that victimhood really changed so much. that's when I really started healing. Before, the victimhood also kind of had an influence on my healing journey, because I just felt like I was working so hard on healing and so hard on getting better, and I was just not getting anywhere. And that kind of justified me feeling like a victim. When I healed that need for victimhood, so power, not feeling safe, that's when I really started making big jumps in healing. Because all of a sudden, there wasn't any benefit to healing versus being healed. Those are two very different things, and so many people stay stuck in healing and working really, really hard on themselves and genuinely trying, like not trying that to get attention or get empathy from others, but really trying to get out of it, but not really getting to a place where they can say, I am healed to a point where I can just really function normally and allow myself to have a really good life. Victimhood was the difference between healing and working really hard and struggling and getting to a place where I could say I am healed. I am healed to a point where I can just have a really good life. And I see this again and again with the people going through the program Healed and Happy, that victimhood is such a key thing to heal. And when you've released that, you start making bigger and bigger jumps. And every time I release victimhood, because I still find places and patches where I use victimhood, and every time I release that, it just improves my life tremendously. So I can just understand that this might do a lot. Like it might bring up a lot of feelings. It might make you feel frustrated or powerless, like, oh, I have to work even harder to let this go, and then I have to be powerful all the time, and that might feel very heavy, like you cannot hold that up. You cannot keep that up. But that is looking at power from a powerless position. Power, feeling power without the negative associations that you now have around them, feels easy. It feels light. And so it is the powerlessness that is telling you now that releasing this and being powerful is really hard, but that is keeping you in the same place, in the same victim operating mindset, which again, I want to keep reiterating this. It's not bad. You are not a bad person. I'm not saying, oh, just get over yourself and, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and just do it. I want to show you a key thing that will make healing so much easier and therefore make your life so much easier. I want you to be able to feel powerful. I want you to be able to feel like you are finally in control instead of always feeling like you are out of control and everything is happening to you, because that is just not a safe feeling place to be in. And that is what I wish for you. I wish for you to feel safe, to feel free to do with your life what you want to do, not be dictated by what is happening to you. And this is such a key component of it. Of course, this is a much bigger subject. It is something that we work on a lot in the online program Healed and Happy, that we see the biggest differences with. If you're interested in this topic, because I feel like this topic is just not talked about enough, also in therapy or in coaching, because nobody wants to be associated with being a victim, but it is so powerful to look at where you are a victim in your life and heal that. Not because you have to do that for others or that you have to do that to be good enough, just for you. I want you to do this just for you, for your own freedom, for your own sense of safety. So let me know if you want to learn more about this. I will do anything I can to help you. And if you want to heal and let me help you heal this and all the other roots of the Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style, then please check out the program Healed and Happy, because that is just an amazing program to heal the Fearful Avoidant Attachment Style. And we measure everything. I don't talk about this enough, but we measure everything in that program. When you start, you fill in a survey and you fill in certain how do you say, numbers into what you're feeling and what you're going through, and then at the end of the first pathway you do that again, and then after every pathway. So we measure everything and we see that it works. This program works. So it is a very good program if you're really serious in wanting to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style. You just want to allow yourself to have that life that you want, and you don't want to spend another minute just struggling. I am here for you. I want to help you. I am so ready to help you. I would be honored if I get to help you. If you're not ready, I will make these videos until the end of time and find ways to help you in that. But if you're able, do the program, because that is what will propel you to being healed instead of struggling and healing. All right, I am so happy you are here always, and I will see you in the next one.
Healed and Happy is a tailor-made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style.